kind of advice do you have to homeowners?
Practicing that preparedness, starting the conversation now is always going to be a benefit to any association out there.
And welcome to Recovery Report Live, Global Pro's deep dive into relevant business and insurance topics, providing actionable takeaways and valuable insights. We aim to update, educate, and inform you weekly. I'm Dan Odess, president of Global Pro, where we manage risk to recovery. For more than a decade, we have represented thousands of businesses and community associations in the placement of insurance and the recovery from over $1 billion in damages. We are your source for insurance news you can use. Took the sport coat off, rolled up the sleeves, because in last week's episode of Recovery Report Live, we discussed the insurance agency's response to coverage issues for claims and the launch of Global Pro's initiative, Love in a Bag, which goes a long way to helping the hard-hit restaurant industry. But speaking of hard hits, it seems like policyholders continue to be the preferred punching bag for insurance companies. But is this really anything new? In 2010, yes, 10 years ago, the Florida Office of Program Policy Analysis and Government Accountability, that's a mouthful, more formally known as OPAGA, published a long-awaited report, Report 10-06. Go ahead and Google it. The title of the report was beyond deceiving because in large part, the information didn't quite support the insurance company's anti-consumer legislation that came thereafter. Here's the title. Public Adjuster Representation in Citizens Property Insurance Corporation Claims extends the time to reach a settlement and also increases payments to Citizens policyholders. Well, at the time, Citizens was the largest insurer in the state of Florida. So it certainly is credible and very relevant information. The state of Florida did us a favor by providing us some key points. The incidence of complaints, regulatory actions, and allegations of fraud involving public adjusters is generally low. That was their finding. Florida's public adjuster laws are comparable to, and in some cases, more restrictive than those of similar states. More restrictive. The analysis found that while cases took longer to reach a settlement, they received significantly higher payments when claimants used public adjusters for claims. Public adjusters represented policyholders in 26% of non-catastrophic and 39% of catastrophic claims filed during this period. However, they left out several key facts buried in the report, but I did the digging for you. They found that the representation by a public adjuster, payments were 747% higher. The analysis was based on the review of more than 20,000 catastrophic claims. Let's summarize this. Low amount of complaints, significantly higher settlements, not even comparable, but it takes longer? Why should it take longer if no one is complaining? But here's the reality. Policyholders are complaining, just not about public adjusters. In a recent 2020 study by Value Penguin, they found that consumers complain most frequently about how claims are handled by insurance companies. Yeah, by insurance companies. Across all insurers, 68% of all complaints were related to claims handling. Yes, you heard that right. Claims handling by insurance companies is the issue. The single biggest complaint consumers made was about unsatisfactory settlement offers. You heard me right. Meanwhile, the representation by a public adjuster, payments were 747% higher. I repeat, 747% higher. And the second most common issue was claims delay. Policyholders are complaining about insurance companies causing delays, not public adjusters. The fact is, claims handling dominated the top 10. Third was denial of claim. Fourth was adjuster handling the loss for the insurance company. Because remember, adjusters sent out by your insurance company don't represent your interests. And 9, stay specific. And 10, comparative negligence. Important fact for our Florida audience, the state of Florida ranked third with the most complaints due to delays. Here's the kicker for all those that think their agents and brokers can help them with their claims. The report goes even further to state that policyholders weren't happy with the sales and marketing process either, finding that misrepresentation of coverage offerings was the single most common complaint. We've dived into some of these issues in past broadcasts, but from confusing water loss coverage issues to wind-driven rain to the recent denial of pandemic claims. Simple question: why would you ever file your own insurance claim? 747% higher recovery, which is the average, meaning there are numerous outliers that are significantly higher than the statistic, and virtually no complaints about public adjusters. Global Pro offers the solution to the growing claims handling problem. It is a problem. And our track record extends beyond claims. We have a track record of being on the front lines, helping our community rebound from major disasters by giving back. Our community needs to continue to move forward as regulations roll back. The pandemic isn't over, and while businesses are starting to welcome clients and patrons back, it's not going to happen overnight. It's a simple fact. And we want to be part of the solution that helps accelerate the recovery. As we discussed last week, it is fair to say that the restaurant industry took the biggest hit. So we have focused our efforts there, especially since Global Pro specializes in helping businesses recover from their losses. Our campaign to support local restaurants, Love in a Bag, is helping promote their brand message, product, and services. Our goal is to increase awareness and to create consciousness. Like last week, we invited one of our restaurant clients to join us. I'm joined today by the co-owner of the Passion Restaurant Group, Joaquin Chamizo, and I wanted to say it slow to make sure that I got it right. The Passion Restaurant Group operates a local restaurant, Miami hotspot, Dolores, but you can call me Lolita. Love the name and everything about this place. The vibe, menu, and drinks are interesting as the building it occupies. But JC's passion for restaurants extends beyond the US to Europe. Passion Restaurant Group operates several internationally known restaurants in Madrid as well. Welcome to the Recovery Report, JC.
Thank you, Daniel. Great to be here.
I want to dive into your businesses and give our audience an opportunity to learn about your amazing restaurant concepts. But first, I want to learn a little bit about you and talk to you a little bit about how did you get into the restaurant industry? Certainly a tough one. Why and what has it meant to you?
I was kind of brought up in the restaurant business. My family had restaurants. My first job was in the restaurant industry, being a cashier at a restaurant. Back then, we didn't have servers that went to the table and you had mobile payments. I was the cash register attendant at a restaurant. So really all my life, I've been in this business.
So I've had some experience of working in the restaurant industry, and I've taken my licks, like I probably butchered your name, but I'll apologize for that publicly, and I'll stick to JC. So let's talk about the struggles, if you will, for you having restaurants on 2 continents, and that's really why I'm excited to have you on, because it's a unique situation. What has it been like coping with the pandemic, and what has been the most difficult issue for your team to deal with this year?
I mean, we were forced to shut down 5 restaurants in March. I mean, and the amount of people that we employed that we had to let go was probably the most difficult issue to cope with. I mean, people were told to stay home, and they could no longer earn a living. That was very tough. Having to deal with that on 2 continents, very, very difficult.
I can imagine, especially different, culturally, very different, Madrid, Spain, and the United States. So I can imagine, and I have had some experience in spending some time in Madrid. Always love the siesta. Part of the culture there, but the food has always been amazing, and to see that you're there doing your thing as well, it's incredible. So as a business owner, I'm sure there's a lot to take away from this. Is there anything you believe you can do better to plan for an event like this in the future?
Well, I think that I don't know if you could ever plan better for a pandemic. I mean, we heard about it, we saw movies about it, but as far as from the restaurant's standpoint, I think that we were not takeout or delivery focused as a company, and I think that would have definitely helped us through this pandemic. being a little more versatile. Just we were very dine-in focused restaurant chain or company, and the delivery aspect was kind of second fiddle. It would have been a lot. It would have been helpful for us to have had a plan for delivery and take and be more focused in it when this pandemic hit.
Obviously, a very valuable takeaway, and a lot of times we learn when we're hardest hit, and so I know you guys will be back. There's a lot of interesting things about your restaurant, and so I want to talk a little bit about it before we move on to some of those things. How have you physically changed your business in order to continue operating? You know, I want to give our audience an opportunity to learn a little bit about from you, since certainly a successful, very well-known brand. So how have you physically changed your business in order to continue operating?
You know, we came back and we were allowed to open back on the 27th of May, and we obviously started focusing on having a plan of action with takeout and delivery, because that was a part of our business that was missing. Outdoor dining became a very important factor because we were only allowed to sit outside. So we had to kind of expand our outdoor dining. We had to also, though the CDC made us change in the way that guests entered our building, the wearing of masks. We had to have sanitizing stations. We no longer were allowed to use physical menus. So really, you know, our whole customer journey or customer experience changed drastically as we began operating again.
And you've made considerable investments in those things, and now you're having to physically change them. So you're already down and out, not serving the clientele that you otherwise would be. Physical restrictions and access to the property. Now you're making physical changes. It's almost like you can't even see the punches coming. There's so many coming at you. I mean, that's why I rolled my sleeves up today, just to talk about the punches, right? So, so let's talk about some of those punches. What and as it relates to us working together, Global Pro and the Passion Restaurant Group, what have these events taught you about insurance for business owners?
I think that the first thing that I woke up one day and realized is and said, how can we not be covered? How can we not be covered in a pandemic? And this is what our insurance carriers were telling us, we're not covered. And the other thing we realized that when we went back to our brokers, they really didn't have a clue. They really did not know. So, you know, it taught us that, you know, we need to pay attention to our insurance policies and realize that, you know, how really the big question is how we were not covered. How can they tell us that we're not covered for a pandemic?
I mean, and I led this conversation talking about some of the consumer complaints. Largely has to do with obviously claims handling, underpayment of claims, denials, delays. But a big part of that was the deceptive marketing. You know, claiming that they're there to help you and provide these coverages, and then really getting smacked down here as a business owner and realizing that they don't want to pay these claims. Now, whether it's covered or not, obviously a different question, because I don't think in the top 4 denial of claim would be a consumer complaint if many of these denials aren't getting overturned and actually paid, and we see that on a daily basis here. So you know, I'm not surprised. I'm glad the report came out. I think the timing of it is fantastic, and I hope you know, some of the regulators look long and hard at it and change how these insurance companies are handling, particularly business owner insurance. But let's talk about something I want to get into, because I absolutely, like I mentioned, I love your concept. And I want, in your words, because you do a great job at it, much better than me, so I will not do it a disservice like I did with your own name. And I will allow you to describe to us the Dolores experience, from atmosphere to the very interesting menu. You mentioned it, but I want our guests to hear from you about it, as well as how did you even come up with this concept?
Actually, Carlos Galan came up with this concept with our partner, and he is the principal owner of the restaurants here in Madrid. He developed a price fixed menu, and our idea behind the price fixed menu is that we aimed to take care of our guest wallet. mean, typically you go into a restaurant and, you're being upsold and you're trying to get that expensive bottle of wine. The server tries to take my check. We are about being our neighborhood restaurant. We are about providing a fine dining experience at very casual dining prices. We offer little details, and we're really big on the small details that sets us apart from the competition. So we want to be your neighborhood restaurant. We don't want to be a special occasion restaurant. We provide a menu that has maybe 10 or 15% foodie, and the rest is comfort food and food that you feel comfortable eating in a very relaxed atmosphere. And you're probably going to need some sort of carry-out bag because you're going to take some food home. There's a lot of food going to the table. We provide value to our guests and a great experience.
Well, I'm glad we are participating that you are participating in the Love in the Bag campaign so that they can carry it out in those bags. I can't wait until we drop all those videos and all that information next week together. We're working closely with you guys. But unfortunately, are you in, I think I might have heard you say, are you in Madrid now?
Right now, I'm in Miami.
You're in Miami, okay.
By the time we cannot travel to Madrid.
Okay, so they're still not letting travel that way. But I haven't had a chance to dine in those restaurants, and there's three of them, or three names. Tell us about those experiences. Are they different? Are they like it? What is it about Madrid that makes it special? And where's your connection to it?
Well, Madrid is special. There are three unique restaurants. They're all similar. They have a price fixed menu where you get an appetizer with free with your choice of an entree. It's La Misión. La Misión is a mission, really. It's an old historic mission. It's a small, cozy restaurant. Great food. I mean, the food scene in Madrid is amazing. It really is. El Recuerdo and El Olvido are your neighborhood restaurants. Again, very every day of the week type restaurants. People frequent a couple times a week. Our guests over there. It's kind of the meeting place of the neighborhoods over there in Spain. So they're exciting. Very similar menu to us here in Miami.
I feel like that's really part of the culture within Passion is to really create that clientele. A lot of restaurants, they come and go and they focus on a lot of, let's say, tourism. But I always felt like you kind of saw the same people in and out of them. And again, I've had the opportunity to indulge in some champagne and mimosas and the delicious food here locally in Miami. So, and I do love to travel abroad, and when we can, I can't wait to visit those locations. I know it's not part of the questions we submitted to you before this interview, but I want to ask you because you mentioned the atmosphere in the building at your location in Madrid. Tell the audience a little bit about the location here and what makes it special.
I mean, first of all, you're in a historic fire station. Dolores, you can call me Lolita, is sitting in a 1923 fire station, one of the first ones here in Miami. I think right now it might be one of the oldest buildings here in downtown. So you're walking into fire poles. You're walking into I think it's an elegant environment. We have an upstairs rooftop patio, which is unique. You're looking at the whole development of the whole Brickell skyline, which is the urbanization of Miami right in front of you. You're going to come in, you're going to have a great experience. Like I said, you're going to have some amazing food, some great cocktails, and you're going to leave. And this is what we want to happen, is not waiting to come back and join us again. We want to make you guests for life.
Well, I'm getting hungry just thinking about it. We talked about obviously the restaurants in Europe and the United States. Has it been similar or different dealing with this whole pandemic issue? And I mean, because obviously very different cultures. What has it been like as a business owner in those two different countries and in two different continents trying to manage this?
It's been difficult. I mean, especially the European culture and the Madrid culture. They dine a little later than we do down here, so they go out to dinner at 10 p.m. Unfortunately, we've both shared curfews. We've both shared limitations. Both countries have. It's been a little more difficult for the European restaurants to get back and going. Here, we've kind of had the same issues to deal with. People dine a little earlier here, but just couple of weeks ago, we were told we needed to have people out of our buildings at 10 p.m. So you were sitting in our restaurant at 9:30. We were handing you the check and told you to go because, the police would come in and shut us down. So both countries have gone through some similarities. Unfortunately, there has been more issues now in the European side of it. Madrid experiences an increase right now, especially throughout Spain, of COVID cases, and I think they're going to even tighten down the limitations again down there.
And yeah, I mean, you were seeing in the state of Florida the roll back things, phase 3, but I think everyone needs to appreciate the fact that this is not this is certainly not a quick sprint. This is a marathon, and we need to be prepared for anything really at this point. And take it slow, and as business owners, certainly the same. You are an entrepreneur, and you've obviously come up through the ranks and have a lot of awesome, amazing experience working internationally, dealing with very unique concepts, bringing to market. I mean, they could have just as easily failed as they did succeed. What is your advice to the next generation that's pursuing careers in the restaurant hospitality industry?
It's got to be somebody you love. It's something you love and something that you're going to love to do every day. It's a tough industry. I mean, we work when everybody else plays. But if the next generation really needs to understand that it's a commitment that you make when you're in hospitality. And even the ups and downs, I think that there is right now a time that we can see the light at the end of the tunnel, and we'll come back strong. The restaurant industry will definitely come back strong.
I think so too. I mean, biggest employer in the country. These statistics are just, pull at your heartstrings with regards to how many have lost their jobs. I know that some are coming back, thank God. But so important to our community here. It really, truly why we chose to focus on the industry. Granted, we represent a lot of the hospitality industry, particularly the New York and Florida markets. So it was easy for us to see the stress, the strain, the absolute difficult situation you all are in, and we want to be there to support it. So what does it mean for you to participate in Global Pro's Love in the Bag campaign?
Wow. It kind of came at the right time. I mean, we couldn't have asked for anything better to help us get through this right at the moment. It really showcases and helps the restaurant industry kind of put a Band-Aid on the big hurt that we've been going through. So we are very fortunate to have been chosen in the Love in the Bag campaign and have a great takeout and delivery program, which we've upgraded to go along with this great Love in the Bag concept.
Which I think is just perfect, honestly. It wasn't part of your model to begin with. Now it is, and we're there with you at the forefront of it. Sometimes things happen for a reason. So why don't you tell our audience a little bit more about how they can learn about your restaurant and website, contact information, and most importantly, obviously, how can they place an order to get some Love in the Bag? Love in the Bag, our orders, and we're mainly focused right now, and it's something that I think that is unique to Miami and people have to try. It's a little taste of Spain. We have paella, which we'll be focusing through our Love in the Bag program, which actually travels very well. That can be ordered right through Uber Eats. We are here also in Brickell at 1000 South Miami Avenue, Dolores, Lolita.com. We're opening every day at 4 p.m. For dinner services. Saturdays and Sundays, we open up at 10 at brunch, and we invite you to come back. It's a beautiful setting. We will make you feel safe. And if you want to, again, order some of our great food to go, the Love in the Bag program is going on at this moment right through Uber Eats. Yeah, I think it's fantastic. And JC, you guys on social media? Absolutely. We are on Instagram, Facebook. All the links are right in our webpage, DoloresLolita.com. All right, fantastic. Well, JC, Huge thanks. Honestly, I'm so glad you can join us. It means a lot to us to have our clientele and to share these opportunities and moments. Talk a little bit about your business, learn about what's going on, how these things are affecting us, and certainly we all have a plan forward. We're glad to be a part of and proud to be a part of your plan. We encourage all of our attendees to go online at getglobalpro.com, check out our website, click the resource section to read, download important information you need to be prepared. Be sure to check out our YouTube channel to watch today's broadcast and like us, follow us, and engage us on all the social media platforms. We love to connect with our clients and community, so call us anytime or shoot us an email. Remember to tune in next week. We will take a look into new insurance trends for community associations and sit down with a real estate industry expert to discuss current economic impacts of the pandemic and get his take on the outlook. Again, thank you, JC, and all of our attendees for tuning in this week on the Recovery Report Live.